Hey, what's going on? What is going on? I'm trying to get this thing balanced. Got it balanced. Hang on. Gotta get a little bit more light. There we go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Connection, hang on. Here we go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? What is up? I am Chris Thompson, one half of that dynamic duo that's putting on the Phoenician Classic happening September 4th, 2021. Today, I got a big time special guest coming on. I got the actual head judge of the Phoenician Classic. He's going to be popping in here answering any questions that you guys might have regarding judging at the Phoenician Classic. So as I wait for Steve here to get himself in here, I'm just going to fill you in a couple of things that's happening here. Fill you in real quick on a couple of things that's happening. So this year's Phoenician Classic is a pro-am show. We will have pro bikini and pro men's physique. So you still have 6 weeks in a polygraph away from, like, if you want to become, if you turn pro in the INBF, turn pro and become a WNBF pro, you still have time to compete at the Phoenician Classic. All right. There's a couple of great shows that's happening. Actually, there's two happening this weekend. There's two shows happening this weekend. Where you can have that opportunity at. One show is up in the Northwest, the Inbf Cecil Phillips Classic happening in Eugene, Oregon. Also down in the Southwest is the Inbf SoCal Uproar happening in San Diego, California. I will be in attendance at that show this weekend. So if you want to see me, meet me, chat with me in person, I am there. There you go. Send Steve a quick message to let him know we're live and we're ready to go. We got some people in here ready to go. Got some questions for us. Letting them know. So I will be there. I'll be in San Diego this weekend. So if you want to meet me in person, I'll be there. We've got 3 great shows happening August 7th, August 21st, August 28th. August 7th, we got the Oklahoma City Classic happening in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. August 21st, got the Natural Central Valley Championship happening in Fresno, California. I'll be in attendance at that show as well. And the last show before the Phoenician Classic is August 28th, IMBF, South Central USA, going down in Dallas, Texas. This is a brand new show. So if you're in that Dallas, Texas area, man, brand new show happening. Brand new show happening in Dallas. Let's see here. Getting Steve on here right now. Oh, yeah. So brand new show happening. Now there's more shows that's actually happening inside the INBF WNBF. What's going on, Steve?
How are you, sir?
Good, brother. There's more shows going on in the INBF WNBF. Just go to worldnaturalbb.com. You'll get the full listing of all the shows that's happening. Now that I got Steve on the camera, finally. Steve, how's it going, boss?
How are you doing, man? How hot is it out there?
It's hotter than Oklahoma.
Is it? I bet.
Yeah, today's high is going to be 105.
How hot is it September 4th is what I want.
September 4th, 110.
Do you know Katie White is not going to like that?
Yeah, not at all.
No, she comes from Seattle. She's a little baby, kind of, She's like, oh, it's hot.
She doesn't do too well in the heat.
No, I don't even know how her and Terry are friends. Terry's in Fresno, like in hotter than you know what. And in Seattle, I don't know how they even make it friendship.
Oh man, I know, because Terry's in Fresno. Fresno's really similar to Phoenix as far as heat wise. Like,
it's terrible.
I've been to Fresno. That's a hot box.
Yes. Hey, we're going there. What, August 22nd?
Yeah, August 21st. Yeah.
21st.
Yeah, 21st. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking about all the shows here that's on the central U.S. all the way over to the West Coast that's happening. That's happening, before the Phoenician Classic, and just letting people, making them aware that there's more shows actually on the calendar. I'm just talking about the ones that's in my region.
Right. Well, that's all good. Well, I'm excited to come out to yours. Super excited.
Yeah, this should be your first time actually coming out, right?
First time ever. I didn't even know what airport to fly into. I was like, am I flying into the right airport that I don't have to drive 4 hours?
Right.
And then I looked and you sent me to the wrong one. So I was like, it's all good. He tried to play a trick on me.
Now, real quick, Steve, before we dive in and get some questions answered for everyone, give us some background. Give us some background. How long have you been promoting shows?
Been promoting shows 15 years. I've been a regional head judge for 22 years. Competed in bodybuilding my whole life. Stopped competing about 8 years ago. And now I just train people and married a beautiful wife named Holly and got a little 6-year-old boy named Crew.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So there's some quick background, guys, on Steve and his qualifications. So he's more than qualified to answer any judging questions you might have. All right. So if you guys got judging questions, please type away in the comments so that way we can get those bad boys answered. I got a couple of them inside of my DM and also as far as email goes. So the primary questions I've been getting here is the ladies want to know, will they have to do a traditional T-walk? Or will they have to do like I like to call it an I walk, because you hit the stage and you hit, stage left, center, and then stage right, and then off stage. So which pretty much what I said is pretty much is always left up to head judges discretion. So what should they be practicing? What should they be looking for? What are you going to want to see?
Well, I would say like they need to practice first. When all the ladies come out in the bikini class, the figure class, even the men's physique, those classes, they're going to know we're going to do the symmetry round. So we're going to do all the comparisons, but then they also need to be familiar with the stage. I call it the stage walk, where all the competitors will be on the stage. We'll walk them to the back of the stage. And then from the far right or stage right, we will start with the stage walk. And that's just where they come forward to the front X on the right side, hit 1 or 2 poses, go to the middle, hit 1 or 2 poses, far left, 1 or 2 poses, and then they'll step back in line. The line will just shuffle down, and then the next girl in line will be called out and she'll do hers. What they need to know in these poses, though, that I don't think some of them know, is they can do any pose that they feel shows their best parts. There's no traditional pose or anything. There's no mandatory poses. They can come up, and if they feel like they need to show a side pose, they can show a side pose. So it's your time kind of one-on-one with the judges to showcase your best body parts or to show what you have compared to the other girls. I tell them, if you come up and you're not confident on maybe your rear pose, you don't have to show a rear pose on your stage walk. You can show what you want to show. Now, when you come back to the line, the judges, I'm going to quarter turn, and then you're going to have to show all sides. But during the stage walk, show your best part.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there so during that quick question, during that stage walk, is there a set time? Is there a certain amount of time that you want them to hit a pose at each position? How much time would they have to play with?
Well, I kind of do it like this. Like, I talk to the photographers of the show, and I kind of think about it like this. Think about it long enough, hit the pose long enough, and be still long enough for us to see you. Give the photographers time to get a nice photo, and then move on. So, 1,001, 1,002. You don't need to linger for 10 seconds in the front pose. You need to kind of hit it, 1,001, 1,002, transition to the next pose, and then move on. The whole stage walk should be maybe less than 60 seconds. We don't want to give 5 minutes. It's not like a bodybuilding posing routine that you might need more time. This is really just 1 or 2 poses, 1 or 2, 1 or 2, back in line. So 30 seconds is a small one, because you don't want to rush through it. You don't want to go so fast that they don't get a good look at you. You want to take the time, but you don't want to linger for minutes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So glad we got that cleared up. Now the next question I got was, how much when they're inside a prejudge, regardless of what class it is, what are we looking at as far as how long should they be prepping for for them to be posing this on stage during prejudge per class? So let's say, for instance, we got men's bodybuilding. How long should they, what should they be practicing as far as length of time of holding the pose?
That's tough, because you get let's just say a class of 10 bodybuilders. 10 bodybuilders, you're going to have some great athletes on that stage. You better be ready to be posed and worked. The judges that you got out on that panel need time to see you. me as a head judge, one thing I cannot stand is if I go to a show and there's another head judge, is these athletes have worked a long time for this day. Let's give them their time. You know, I would rather, you know, them be ready to pose, you know, 30 minutes, you know, because if you go through all your mandatory poses and then you go through all your mandatory front double bicep and things like that, and then the time you didn't say you got a judge that wants to see two other competitors down in front of them, you're going to go through the same thing again. So, you know, you can almost kind of look at the lineup, and this, don't hold me to this, but if you have 10 competitors in the lineup, no, you're gonna be up there maybe about 5 minutes per competitor. So, you know, 10 bodybuilders on stage, once you move them around 3 or 4 times, and then you go through all your poses, and then you move them again, you got, you know, you might have 1, first, second, and third decided. They're kind of out of the picture, but then you're going to need to decide third, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8. That takes time. You know, even the most qualified judges, you know, you'll have Terry Reeves, you'll have Katie. You can't judge them in 5 minutes. That's not fair, because you want to judge them on, first, you want to judge them on their symmetry, and then you want to judge them on their conditioning, and then you want to judge them on their presentation. So, you know, if you got 10 people in a class, just think, I'm going to be up there about 50 minutes, you know, and if you only got, say, you come out and you're in a bodybuilding class of 3 people, it might be a little easier to judge, because it might be easier to pick, like, you know, you might be easy to pick the first place, and then it might be a little competition between 2 and 3, but it's not going to take that long.
Right.
So 5 minutes a competitor. If you look back there and you see the lineup and you got 5 people in your class, then I'll be better be ready for about 25, 30 minutes. But I tell people, you know, be ready to battle. The worst thing you can do as a competitor is put all this work in and then show up and not be ready to pose.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And lose it, because you see them come out all strong and everything the first set of turns, and then they come back and they can't hold their legs. They're breathing real heavy. And then they're like, man, I wish I would have posed more. I didn't know. Posing is just as important as your nutrition. You're lifting your weights, it's hitting your chest. It all comes together as one big package.
Absolutely, absolutely. So those were like I would say the 3 primary big questions that most people that I got hit with. Is there any other like pointers that you want to get out there for athletes to know that you're going to be kind of like looking for and guiding the other judges, pointing them in the direction that they need to be looking for with competitors as they're going through their mandatory posing?
Well, you know, like I would tell every competitor, if they watch this or something like that, know what the criteria is for what category you're entering. You know, I would go to, you know, worldnaturalbodybuilding.com, and I would know what the criteria is, and don't come if you don't fit that criteria, you know, because that's what we're going to go by. When I talk to the other judges, if we leave the judges meeting the night before the show, all these judges have judged forever. We're going to judge to the standard of the organization. And that's what sometimes is hard to understand for the competitors, and say maybe for your mom and dad in the audience and your boyfriends and girlfriends. You might walk out on stage, and let's just say you walk out on stage and you enter the men's physique category. You may look amazing, but you may not quite fit the standard that they're looking for men's physique to represent the organization. And then you may say get 3rd place. To the normal eye, you look amazing. But amazing is, do you look what the organization wants for that category? So I would just say to all the athletes, if you're registering for men's physique, study that criteria. Know if you look like that. If you don't, then you might need to move to bodybuilding. But don't come in a category and then act surprised when you get placed 3rd, and then you go talk to the judges and they say, you know, you were a little too muscular. Well, maybe you should do bodybuilding. So I would say, if you don't know, go to World Natural Bodybuilding, look at the standard, look at some of the photos. If you don't know, email them, say, hey, and I'm sure that they would love to get an email. Send them a few photos and get some feedback. They might tell you right then, you know, Bob's awesome. Bob might say, hey, I'm not your trainer and I'm not here to kind of tell you what to do, but you're better in men's physique than bodybuilding. or you're better vice versa. You might be a better figure lady than a bikini lady. If you do bikini and you don't fit that standard, don't do it just because that's what your heart tells you to do. If you want to do well and do well in the sport, know the standard of what you're trying to compete in. And that's what I would say for all men and women is just know what category you're competing in and know what that organization wants for that look.
Absolutely. It kind of reminded me when we were up at when we were up at Katie's show in Washington, when we had the world champion, the female bodybuilding world champion, Lise, and she decided she wanted to try Fit Body, and she came in solid, looked immaculate, but she didn't look, she was too hard for Fit Body. She needed to be in bodybuilding because she's a world champion in women's bodybuilding, but she was trying to try a different class just to give it a test run, and realized like, oh wow, okay, yeah, the judges said I was too hard for this class, and it kind of like was a eye opener for her. But she, once she realized what the criteria was for the class, she was like, okay, cool, I get it,
Right. And I talked to her at the after party, and she said, what do I need to do better? Girl, you're the world champion bodybuilder. What you need to do better is stay in bodybuilding. Right. Bottom line. Don't try to come down and do figure because it'll be fun. You're the world champion. And no matter if you get on stage and you try not to flex. She goes, well, what if I don't flex? You're peeled. You're not you're not shredded. You're peeled.
Right.
World champion bodybuilder. I said, the best thing you can do, never do that again. Stay in bodybuilding. And that's a harsh reality. Me and Katie was in Chicago, and the world champion bodybuilder, he kind of did the same thing. He dropped down into classic men's physique because they weren't offering bodybuilding. He got like 5th place. Okay. And the crowd was like, boo. We're like, dude, he's the world champion bodybuilder. He's not a men's physique competitor. And what they don't realize is if you let somebody like that win the category, all the young amateur athletes around the world are going to go look at the winners of these shows.
Right.
And if they win 1st place and the judges don't hold true to the standard of the organization, then all of a sudden they think that's what they need to look like. And then all of a sudden you got this the category developing into something you don't want because, well, if they won, then that must be what I need to look like. And that's not necessarily the case. So the whole thing with the judges panel, these judges are seasoned judges. I saw your list of judges. Between all the judges, you probably got over 100 years of judging experience right there. They're not going to let that happen.
Right.
They're the best of the best, and they're going to hold it true. Now, it may hurt some people's feelings, but at the end of the day, we got to do what the organization wants to hold that true to keep it fair for all the competitors around the world.
Right. We have the main objective here is to get it right, not be right.
Yeah, get it right. And, I tell competitors, I'll tell in a competitor meeting, go talk to the judges afterward. Don't be that one that says, well, my trainer said this, or my wife said I look great, or my husband said I look great. I tell them, your husband and your trainer and your wife, they got to tell you that. Your husband's got to say you're the best if you're the bikini girl. He can't be like, yeah, you're a little thick. No.
Right.
He not. Good.
Right.
He's got to tell you, no, girl, you look great. You should have won that show. Go talk to the judges. Talk to the Terry Reeds. Talk to Katie White. Talk to me. We got no skin in the game. Our only job is to have no opinion and say, you do better in this category. Take it for what it's worth. But that's what I would tell them to do. Go talk to the judges. They got no skin. They're going to direct you the right way. Go back to the drawing board and bring it back and get better and better every show.
Absolutely. So got a quick question that came in. First-time competitor. She's competing in Masters Bikini. She wants to know, as a first-time competitor, what's one piece of advice you can give a first-time competitor that's competing? Whether it does, I would say the class wouldn't matter. First-time competitor, period. Whether it's bikini, figure, fit body, bodybuilding, men's physique. What's one piece of advice you can give a first-time competitor?
First-time competitor, I would just say, when you get on stage, know that I'm here to help you. Okay? A lot of first-time competitors, they kind of get thrown off of their game if, say, the head judge has to correct them or give them any advice. They, say I have to say put both feet on the line. Just know that that's not going to have any bearing on your place. I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to help you get the pose correct so the judges can judge you correctly. Don't think of it as like he called me out or he just had to get on to me. I messed up. Don't let it get in your head. Go out there with confidence. First time competitors, all the judges are going to know this is your first time on stage. We're going to be a little more patient with the posing. Set your pose, and then know if you get told, hey, do this or put your heels together, it has no bearing on your placing. No, so a lot of first time competitors say, well, when you told me to square up my hips, I didn't know what to do, and I thought I messed up, and then I just lost it. Come out on stage with confidence. We know your first time. We're going to be patient with you. I'll help you get corrected, but don't let that have any bearing on your face. Smile, don't get rattled, and just have fun. Have fun up there. You made it to the stage. You know, if I have 100 people say at the beginning of the year they're going to compete in a show, 1% might make it to the stage.
Right.
You're on the stage, girl. You're on the stage, dude. Have fun, enjoy it, learn from it, and know that, you know, the judges are there. They're your friends. They may not look like it. They're sitting down there. They're looking at you, but they don't want you to be nervous. They don't want you to do bad. We're here to help you. And if I tell them to do something and correct them, don't think it has any bearing on your placing.
Absolutely. Great advice. Great advice, Steve. And actually, that was actually great advice for any competitor, whether you're seasoned or if it's your first time. Like, if the head judge gives you instructions, just follow those instructions and, you know, just make those adjustments and keep it moving, because you're spot on. Like, you're there to correct them and actually put them in the right position. So allow the other judges to judge you fairly. Yeah.
My main job kind of as the head judge, you know, I'll be judging, but my main job also is to be sure every competitor gets a fair look. You know, if you're way off to the side and I can't see you well, or you don't have good lighting on you, don't let it bother you if I say, you know, can you take 2 steps forward and move to your right? I'm trying to let the judge on the other end may not be able to see you. So just know that I'm there to help you. Sometimes I have people kind of be like, man, when you told me to do that, I messed up, and I know I lost the show right there. Like, you didn't. Well, I'm there to help you, get you to look that better. And if I move you around or tell you to scoot forward or spread out, it's to help you, because they get nervous up there. Next thing you realize, you don't even realize you might be facing the wrong way a little bit.
Right, right.
I say quarter turn to the right, and I promise you, this show, someone will quarter turn to the left.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to be nicely like, your other right. And they're like, oh my gosh. Just laugh
it
off,
does
man.
happen, because everyone gets a little nervous
before you go out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, guys, if you got more questions, fire away. You can send me a private question, or you can ask a question right here in the comments. While I do have the head judge on for the Phoenician Classic, all right? If you got questions, please fire away. Do not hesitate, okay? This is your opportunity right now to get your questions answered. Steve, you touched base on something that that I want to cover with you real quick before I get you out of here. As far as like giving, posing and lining the athletes up on the stage. And I know it's one of those, one of our criteria is that when they're doing the front pose, they kind of should have both feet on the line. Now, what does that look like far as for men's physique? Typically where this is kind of becomes a issue at is primarily is bikini and men's physique, because those are mostly angled posing. Mm-hmm. So what advice would you have for an athlete that's trying to get both of those feet on that line, but still work an angle? Like, is there any pointers you have for that?
Well, yeah, and they say both feet on the line. I'm not going to be watching your feet and being sure they are both on that line. What they're saying is that if I can kind of show you, like, you know, you just can't be stepping almost 1 foot behind the other foot and have your feet facing this way and your hips turn this way. What I'm going to look at mostly is be sure, you know, you can be a little off like this, but have your toes facing forward. You know what I'm saying? I understand. Everybody's working angles. You got thick waist, you got skinny waist, you got hips, and it's all that. But like, you just can't be like standing where your toes are facing that way and you're turning, squaring your chest up to the judges.
Right. So it's almost like they're already in a quarter turn. So pretty much the hips need to be facing forward, but if they got a slight angle to it, it's not a big problem.
Yeah, and I don't mind, you know, if the bikini girl has 1 foot off the line of, you know, a couple inches and her hips are turned. That's okay, just as long as the majority of the pose looks like it's a front pose. Like, you hit it right on the nail on the head there. You can't be already in a quarter turn facing that way with your whole body and just turning your body toward the head judges. Because then I'm going to say, hey, let's face the front. Well, you are facing the front, but we need the rest of you facing the front at least 90%.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was. I just realized that was one of the that was always a hiccup that I see at shows, and when I'm judging shows, I see is when we're got that front pose going on, but like you said, the lower body is already inside of a quarter turn, and the upper body is turned back towards the judges. Well, you're already in a quarter turn,
Right.
so
And
it's
what
not
I
a
can
front
say on
pose.
that is like, you know, like in a lot of bikini girls, you know, they get up there and they've only posed one way. And I'm not knocking trainers or anything like that. Trainers are great. That's how I make my living, as training. But I would say if your trainer's posing you a certain way, I would go to the website, pull up the pictures of the bikini girls, and then also take those to your trainer and say, this is how they want me to stand. Because they always come to the judges meeting afterward and say, well, my trainer said I need to stand like this. Well, the trainer's not judging you. The judges are judging you. So I would say go to World Natural Bodybuilding, look at how they're standing, take that to your trainer and say, hey, I know you're saying this, but I'm competing in this organization. I think I need to be a little more forward, because no head judge wants to have to correct you on stage, because it throws you off. And if you don't know how to pose the way I'm asking you to, you don't know how to correct it. You know, I can tell you a story. One time I promoted a show here in Oklahoma City. We had about 19 bikini girls walk out on the stage. I'm backstage doing my thing. My head judge was Katie White. You never want Katie White to put the microphone down and ask everybody to exit the stage and her come backstage and give a posing lesson backstage.
Mm,
Not good.
that's not
Not
good.
good at all. Now, I seen her put the mic down and I seen her coming around the corner and I was like, you girls are in trouble.
That's not good.
And next thing you know, there's tears coming down eyes and girls crying, and we're trying to touch up makeup because they didn't know how to pose. So I would say, you know, no matter what your trainer's telling you, look at the standard of what the organization wants. I don't even mind if they message me. Hey, here's my front pose. You know, message me, message some of the other head judges and say, is this right? I'll tell them, hey, that pose, if you come out and set that pose, there'll be no corrections. You look great. Now, if they want to do that, I don't mind. I'll tell them. But if they send it to me and I say, no, your feet are like this, then I'll show them how they need to get their feet. So therefore, they learn it now. So when they come out on stage, they've already learned it.
Awesome, awesome. All right, got two more questions for you, and I'm gonna let you get out of here, big man. Sam, which is a WMBF pro bikini competitor that's actually doing the Phoenician Classic. She said, "Hey, Chris, can you touch on the suit criteria as far as cut, especially for bikini, and which she thinks will be helpful? So, far as bikini cut, as far as the bottoms, typically the bottoms of the bikini, where we kind of run into where you run into like a little bit of a hiccup as far as the cut of the bikini. What's the kind of like what criteria are we looking for? What's going to be too tight, too wide?
You know,
Looking for that Goldilocks.
you know, I tell people there's not one cut for everybody. You know, I tell people it needs to be at least a hand's width across on your back, on your glutes. It doesn't need to be a thong. It don't need to be a T-back. But it doesn't need to come all the way out like you're going to the swimming pool with your pastor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I say at least half your glutes need to be covered. We can see you got the best glutes on the stage. We can see that. We don't need to see all of them. You know, you see it. So I say right now, you know, like half your glutes need to be covered. So if your suit's there and you got it on and like this half is out and this is half, you're good to go. And I would say if you can't get it like that, put it on, take a picture, email it to you, email the picture to World Natural Bodybuilding, and just say, hey, I don't mean to bother you, but is my suit good to go? I don't want to get on stage and not be appropriate. Now, will that have a bearing on your placing? I've never judged someone down because their suit was too big, too small, or too big. I'm not going to say, well, you had first place, but your suit was not quite glued right. But you do want to know that if you're in an amateur show and you're competing for a pro card and you're trying to go to the next level, the best thing is to look like the next level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the final question I got here for you is, let's see here. Josh wants to know, are poses judged during the pre-judge pose down? Would it be better to hit traditional poses versus classic physique poses? So he wants to know, like, when they call for a pose down, are those poses being judged as well?
Absolutely. I say, you know, after you've already went through your symmetry round and then you went through all your posing and then, you know, you think you're over, and they say, hey, let's have some pose down music, and you're kind of hitting some random poses, judges are still watching. They still have their judges sheet. And I tell competitors after every show, from the time you walk on the stage, when that light hits you, you're being judged. And until you walk off the stage and the curtain shuts, you're being judged. You know, I may say, is everybody good? And then let's have some pose down music. I still may be good, but I may still be kind of on the fence between, say, third and fourth place. So I'm watching. I would say if you're in men's physique, hit your men's physique poses, because that's what we're judging. You know, if you're in men's physique, I wouldn't want you to come out and throw a front lat spread or a front double bicep. I don't care if you got good biceps right there. That's not what I'm looking at. If you're in men's physique, do the pose that we're looking at, because I'm still looking at you. I can still erase and say, you know what? That guy does look tighter. So I say like this, you are being judged. If you're in the pre-judging and the judges still have the judges' books, you better be game on all the time. Because I've been at judges' shows and every judge is ready. And then at the walk-off, someone's like, you know, you're right. And they change it. That's the judge's decision. He can do anything he wants till he passes that sheet in. So from curtain on to curtain off, you're being judged.
Absolutely. Great advice, Steve. Steve, Adam took up a good 30 minutes of your time. I know we said 20, but thanks, man.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm super excited to be a part and meet the athletes and come out and see you.
Absolutely. All right, Steve, man. I'll see you in about 6 weeks. Well, actually, I'll see you in about 4 weeks.
You'll be in Fresno? I'll be in Fresno. All right. Hey, have a great night.
All right, you too, brother.
Bye.
Bye. So there you have it, guys. Some great. I brought the head judge on. He gave some great info. Even Katie was chiming in the comments. Katie is also a head judge herself. She will be judging at the Phoenician Classic as well. You know, so we got some of the best of the best of the best judging the show. You know, and that's just the way I like to roll. That's just the way we like to roll. You know, that's just how we do it. But hey, if you guys need to catch a recap of this, of Steve's comments and suggestions and all the feedback, if you guys need to catch a recap of this, you can catch it on IGTV as well as YouTube. I will upload this up to YouTube, and you can watch it at your leisure, or what they call on demand now. So there you go. There you have it. That's all I got for you guys today. Man, once again, like dropping more gems. We're officially 6 weeks in the Polygraph away from the Phoenician Classic. Don't forget, late fees start August 6th. Late fees will start August 6th. It'll be an extra $50 for amateurs, extra $75 for the pros, because you pros know better. All right, you know better. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. You guys have a great weekend, and I will tune in, check in with you guys next week on Tuesday. Be easy.